Hi guys, it's me, Jo Labbé, here with Chakra Sessions. We had some glitches going on with BeLive that we've spent the last 20 minutes trying to fix, and they didn't fix. So here I am live, and I'm going to be flying solo without my producer. So we'll see how this goes. I'm giving you space to kind of catch up to where we are and find me, hopefully over here. But this is how it's going to work. And I know a few of you asked for cards over in the other feed, and I will try to find that. I will try to look for that. And Julie, you are here with me. Could you kind of give a shout out in the other group and let them know that we're over here today? Because there were some glitches with BeLive, and this was the best way for us to fix it. Yeah, so let's see. Yep, I'm just messaging. I'm just messaging back. So here we are. So if you guys, you know, this is our night to do healing and meditation, and then I will draw cards for you. And I know it's going to take. I know it's going to take a little while to spread the word. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I appreciate that. So unfortunately, if you ask for a card over on the other feed, I'm not going to find it. And I'm going to do the best thing I can to keep up with the cards. But those of you who know me really well understand that it's hard for me to channel and read on the same time. It's why we do producers for shows when we're doing this. So I'm feeling like because it's a little chaotic, it's going to be a little better for me to do cards and not the meditation. So hopefully that goes okay for you guys, because it's going to take me a little longer than normal to do the work here. So the tarot deck that I'm using tonight is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and this is Raven Phelan. I've used this a number of times. But one of the things is that this is really connected to the earth plane, Gaia in particular. But I also find that there's a lot of divine feminine energy that's running through these cards. So I do the best that I can to handle that. And we'll see how I do with the comments, because I don't know. They don't seem to be. Oh, there they are. Now they're scrolling. So we'll see how this goes. But the first card I'm going to pull is for somebody who requested a card from me because they were sick having the thing that I had. So Cindy Lynn Krantz, this one is for you. And so this card is the Four of, well, in the regular tarot, it's the Four of Swords. So I'm going to have a little hard time remembering what the elements are. I think of it as the Four of Knowledge. That's how my team is talking to me right now. So in this card, it reminds me of sort of the matrix energy. But what it's saying is that we often use our ego, part of our body, our third chakra, it sort of circumvents our heart. So it sort of takes over our thought process. So what I'm hearing for you is to be really mindful of the thoughts that are spinning through your head. If they are negative in energy, then negative is what you're going to create. And that applies to worry and anxiety as well. So anything that is not in our love energy, that is not intuitive, those thoughts may be created by your ego self, or it may also be created by your inner critic, because both of those can sort of circumvent your heart and your throat. It can go around your authentic truth and start taking over your thought process. And we know when that happens because we get spinning in our own head. So what this is saying is that, you know, pay attention to where the energy is coming from, where the thoughts are coming from. One of the practices that my team talks about with me all the time is put your hand on your heart and ask if this is true for me. Is this true for me? And I usually get a very decisive yes or no. And if it's a no, then I move on. And if it's a yes, then I ask for clarity. Could you give me more information? So it's saying just be mindful of that right now, because that is really connected to, it can get us in a spinning out place where we're not in the present moment. And if you're not feeling well, you need to be in the present moment to truly heal. And having been sick recently, I can tell you that. And drink lots of fluids, sweetie, because that was the thing that helped me. All right, Julie, Shumway Hill. Here you go, my dear. So this one is the 6 of Earth in the normal deck. And so in the 6 of, you can see that he's got these shackles, this burden he's wearing, but that the chains are loose. And it's not really, it's just resting there. He's choosing to carry it. And he's also got a lot of fruits of his labor. So this is saying that, you know, you've carried the weight of the world for other people, and that you are now being rewarded for having carried that. But it's time for you to drop that burden. You no longer need to carry that weight. It's not your job to plant the seeds for others. And part of that is, remember, we want to create in our own reality, because that's the only place where our creation energy really works. When we're trying to create for others, we're actually giving our power away, and they don't necessarily want it. So you have done all of this work for other people in a very loving way. You're being rewarded for all of that work, but it's time for you to stop carrying everybody on your shoulders. And I'm feeling that relates to both work and home. So start thinking about how you can realign your focus to yourself, your self-care, and go from there. Because, you know, when we take on responsibilities that aren't ours, they're heavy and they're uncomfortable. And you don't have to do it anymore. That's what your team is telling you. All right, my dear. And thank you for spreading the word, sweetie. All right, Marie. Hi, dear. Welcome to the show. So your card is the 3 of Fire in this deck. And the 3 of Fire is really saying to you, it's time for you to take this kind of walk forward. He's got his pack. He's on this new journey. And on the 3, it's like you're in this happy place where you're using your fire for moving forward. You're using your fire for creating new things, and you're really stepping forward in a new way. So allow your creative desires and your passions, the things you really want to move forward on this next part of your soul's journey, allow them to carry you forward, especially this week. There's a lot of fuel that is going to be giving you some momentum. So take that momentum and run with it, babe, because, you know, we go through these ebbs and flows, and you got some water coming at you, and that is going to be pushing you forward with all this fire. So go for it. All right. So Rob, nice to have you. Your card is the King of Water. He always looks so fierce. But I love that. I don't know if you can see, you know, he's got the flippers, but he's also got the goddess symbol at his crown. So he's connected to the goddess. He's connected to his intuition. So what this is saying is that your energy in this next week is that you are going to be the king of your intuition and the king of your emotional energy. And that is where all creation really flows from. It's where we get our really cool ideas. It's where manifestation energy can flow through us. It's about being connected to that flow and all the ways it can flow through us physically, mentally, spiritually. And many people think of flow as abundance, and it can be abundance as well. But this is you being in charge of that. It's not being in a place where, you know, the circumstances are controlling how you feel, or that you're giving your emotional power away to somebody else. And that happens when we say, you know, you made me feel this way. Well, you're in this place of being that supreme ruler of your own emotional body and being able to understand that what you feel and how you feel it, that's all on you. And when we do that, we're empowering ourselves, and we're also inviting in our intuition to amp itself up, really give us some more clear signals and some clear guidance on which way is best for our soul's journey and our soul's path. Cool. Love it. Ah, Minnie, I just showed up for you. I'm assuming you want a card, my dear. So Minnie, your card is one of the soul cards. This is the 24 in this deck, and so there's more soul cards in this deck than a traditional one. And this one is our faith card. So the faith card is really that card of when we are solid with who we are, we just trust and have faith that everything is going to be as it should be. So we have released this energy of blame. We have given our attention to the present moment, and we just really trust in how the divine is going to show up for us and how we show up for others. So this is when we get a soul card, it's not just for this week, it's what your soul is working on at this moment. And so those moments where you feel wobbly or you have some doubt or you're not sure, some uncertainty, that's when we are closing our crown chakra slightly and we're disconnecting from the fullness of the source. So as you're going through this lesson, just sort of notice how your crown gently opens and wants to contract. And every time return to your heart and, you know, say, I trust in the divine energy. I trust in myself. And that will help you move through that with some ease and grace. All right. Hello, Kate. Oh my gosh. Haven't seen you in eons, it feels like. Nice to have you, Kate. So your card tonight is the 4 of Earth. He's kind of a hottie. So the 4 of Earth is, he thinks he's holding up the building. Can you see that? He's pushing on the window and he's working really hard. His muscles are pushing. So he's in that space of he thinks he's got to hold everything up. So when this happens, this energy for the week for you is, this is when we think we hold that we are creating everything independently. We have to make it happen. And in that energy, sometimes we get we hold on to our possessions, we hold on to people, we get very clingy and very needy, and we don't leave a lot of space for the divine to come in and fill us up and to share more clearly with us. So this is a reminder that as much as you think you're going it alone, you're really being guided by the divine, and the divine is really assisting you with what's going on, even though you feel isolated and alone around it. All right, hand it over to the divine a little bit, sweetie. All right, Anne, hi. Nice to have you here, my dear. So your card is a soul card as well. This is the love card. And again, this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot deck for those of you who are just joining us. And it's Raven Phelan, who's the author. So this love card is, this is when our soul lesson right now for you is, how do you stay in love energy? And this is something we're trying to do on a planetary basis. So this is when you check in to see if your heart is guiding you or if your fear is guiding you. Which one are you choosing in any given moment? And that's when we check in. Again, we check in with our heart to see how we're feeling, to see what's going on, to get guidance from our team in a higher vibration. than if we just listen to what's going on in our head. And this is a time where we consciously choose love over fear. When fear wants to come in, or negativity or worry or anxiety want to come in, you go back to putting your hand on your heart. You take a couple of deep breaths to allow yourself to fully ground. And then when you do that, you call in the highest vibration to connect with you. And that will send frequencies of love to you so that you can be choosing from your authentic truth, from your authentic self. And that's perfect for all of us. But that's part of what your soul's practicing right now, so that it becomes your natural go-to rather than a skill you have. Does that make sense? So really tune into that. All right, nice to have you. Dinah, so I'm going to pull the card for you first and then for your son. So Dinah, your card is the Queen of Earth, which is great for this week. And the Queen of Earth has a lot of similarities to Mother Earth. She is very grounded. She is very connected to her family. She's basically in charge of her family. Sound familiar? And in that place where she's in charge, she not only has enough for herself, but she has enough to share with others. So what that is saying for you is that, gather together your resources, and some of them are not financial. They're your time and your attention, and share them openly with others, because then you will be receiving the fruits of that over and over again. And as you go through that this week, that leaves you in a place where you feel very abundant. And when it's the Queen of Earth rather than the King of Earth, there's this energy of happiness that goes with that joy of sharing, that joy of being able to provide for others. It fills us where we don't feel like we're lacking anything. It's that filled up, and I have all this joy and I just want to share it with everyone kind of energy. So in those moments, being a listening ear for a friend who's maybe not doing so well, or giving our attention and focus to our children when they're talking or being with us, that can be worth more than money. Does that make sense? So step into your queenhood this week, and let's see how that works for you. And for your son, Graham, so this is a pretty cool card. This is the 10 of Fire. Woo! All those colored dots that look like a rainbow, those are called your chakras. And notice the wings of fire coming out. So in this place, there's this energy for you this week that is inviting you to really try to stay in balance. In this kind of energy, we've got a lot of fire going on, and fire means that we can get a lot done, and we can be really productive, but we can also have a short temper. So we can get a little frustrated with other people and even with ourselves. So as you feel like frustration coming in, I really invite you to take a couple of deep breaths and do your best to let the frustration go down your legs and into the ground. Because lots of times it's not going to help you, and it's not going to let you do what you want to do. And so that's part of the lesson. When we carry a lot of that fire energy, it's like it doesn't do us a whole lot of good when we get super angry, because then we're not concentrating, and then other people don't want to hang out with us and that kind of thing. So this is saying pay attention to when you feel, when you feel good, your chakras are all lit up, they're nice and round, and they're nice and colorful. And when the fire comes in, then sometimes they squeeze the energy out of them. So when you feel sort of that squeezing feeling coming in, that's when you want to take a couple of deep breaths and let all that extra energy down into the ground. You can even just rub your feet on the floor, or you can rub your hands together, and that helps calm the fire. All right? So good luck with that. Drink a lot of water and a lot of liquid, okay? Because that'll help too. All right, Minnie, I'm pretty sure, yep, I drew for you. So, Bobby, hi. Of course you can have a card today. So your card is the 7 of Air. And see, he's got that dagger at kind of between his throat and blocking, shielding his heart. He's got that book of wisdom, and he's got on his cloak, the third eye is open. He's also got his hand in the mudra that we often associate with the Pope. And so what that is saying to me for you is that, you know, you've been carrying all this knowledge, and the knowledge has helped you. Knowledge always helps when we have it, you know, so it's great to have that book of knowledge, but really to have the, you know, to put down the energetic sword. There's no need to fight anymore. You're past the fight. But it's time for you to tap into your faith, and it's time for you to tap into your intuition, because our true strength comes when we are solid in our sense of ourselves and our sense of our connection to the divine. When we trust and we believe in all that is coming through that. And that opens our heart. We no longer have to feel wounded in our heart. That's why the knife is not embedded. It's just hanging there as a memento of all the times that you've held on to the wounds, but you no longer need to stab yourself with the old pain and the old hurt. You've learned from that. It's in your book of knowledge that you're carrying, but it's time for you to simply breathe, trust, and allow, because you've got this. All right. Carol, hi, how are you? So your card is the 11 of Air, which is the body and mind connection. The 11s in this deck are always two different things that are working in tandem, or my team would say as a circuit. So right now, the energy for you is that you can use this time to become aware of the body and mind connection. So when you're thinking certain thoughts, what happens within your body? Do you have pain? Do you have discomfort? Do you get hungry? Notice how one triggers another. And then, you know, there are times when certain thoughts trigger us to feel like we need to eat. And then we can really check in and say, am I really hungry? Or is this my brain distracting me? Or is this my brain dealing with stress as opposed to how my body wants to really be in this moment? And then listen to what your body is telling you. And if it's telling you things like you need to slow down, you need a nap, you need more liquid or more exercise, then listen to that. Because when we are mindful of listening to our body and our mind, it's like we're owning our mental realm and our physical realm and treating them equally, like they're both important. Sometimes we listen to our brain over our body too much, and that will cause discomfort and dis-ease inside of our physical realm. And when our body gets cranky, it tends to get our attention by making something hurt. So I invite you to start listening to it so you don't have to go through that, because it's not comfortable, I'll tell you. Thank you, Nashi, for, you know, the technical glitch is just what it was. And thank you, Rob, for sharing for everyone. Jackie, hi. So your card is the the 3 of air. So we got a lot of air tonight. And I don't know if you can see above his head, is looking over at the books, is a dragon. He's got his own wings, but then the dragon is there. So with the 3 of air, this is saying that it's time for you to do some studying. Sometimes this is the card where it's time to start learning something new, maybe take a new class or that type of thing. And the dragon in this dragon represents spirit, or represents your spiritual team in this particular deck. And so it's showing me that as you bring in this new knowledge, you're being lit by the divine. So it's calling to some form of your spirit, some part of your soul that is yearning to be expressed. And your spiritual team is watching over your shoulder, is guiding you. And all of this is connected to the angelic realm. So it doesn't mean that's angelic study. It just may mean that your guardian angel is helping and protecting you as you're doing this. Or you may be calling on a particular archangel to help with the study, help with the learning. And to know which ones to call in, I invite you to watch our resident expert, Maureen Mann, on her angel therapy, because all of her shows about how to call in the different archangels and bring in their energy. And she did a fabulous show about the energy of this year and each month in particular. So that might be helpful to you in how you're going to bring that new knowledge forward. All right. Ellen Bartos, hello, my dear. So your card is the 11 of Earth, and this one is the heaven and earth connection. So it's a little different than the body and mind. So this is for you, it's very much about the balance between the right and the left side of the body. And it's also about how are you balancing your physical and your spiritual life. What I'm seeing is, imagine your life as a pie, and that each slice of the pie is the same size. So you have a slice for your family, you have a slice for your friends, you have a slice for your work, a slice for your health, a slice for your finances, a slice for your environment, where you're living, and anything else that feels extremely important to you. And all of those slices should be the same size. So if your spiritual practice slice is like this big and your work slice is this big, then you're out of sync, right? Because too much of the wrong kind of pie doesn't taste good, right? Sometimes it's better to have a few healthy bites than to scarf down the whole piece. So it's saying to bring the spiritual and your physical back into balance. They're a little out of whack. And so as you do that, maybe take, start each day with meditations or affirmations. You can do affirmations while you're taking a shower, while you're washing your hair, while you're brushing your teeth. You can be saying to yourself your mantras that are connecting you to your spiritual team and what you want to create. Even if it's, I am worthy of love and abundance. I am worthy of love and abundance. That's what you're invoking in your spiritual team to help fill you with that for your entire day. And then at the end of the day, listing all the things that you were grateful for that went well for the day. And that calls in, it sort of sandwiches spirit, you connecting with spirit at the beginning of the day, you at the end of the day, and then it allows the energy to flow through your entire day, if that makes sense. So work on balancing that, sweetie, because it's so easy. When we work for ourselves, it's really easy to get out of line in that. All right, Joanne, let me just grab a little drink of my tea. You. All right. So Adrian, I'll get to you in a minute. Joanne, your card is a soul card as well. This is the thought card. Notice she's got a cauldron and she's concocting something, right? And then, but you also see the masks in the red and the blue. So what this is talking about is that it's reminding you that our thoughts create. So whatever we focus our attention on, that's what we create. So if we're thinking about all the things going wrong in the world, then many more things are going to go wrong in the world, because that's what our focus is on. And if we focus on the positive things, the things we're grateful for, the things that have gone well, then we create more and more of that. So as your soul's lesson right now, it's being noticing, aware of what are you creating. If you don't like what is going on around you, then look to your thoughts. See what you're thinking. So it's so easy when we are watching the news or looking through our Facebook feed that we can get outraged by the negative things there. And so if we focus on that, then we get more and more of that. And if we focus on, all the puppy pictures, then we tend to see tons and tons of puppy pictures, right? It seems like everybody has a puppy picture if we are loving puppy pictures, or sunsets or clouds or whatever brings you joy. So focus on what brings you joy. Notice when you slip out of your joy, what you start to create around you in those moments. Remember that nobody else is creating for you. So what you see is what you get. And it's because that's somehow you believe what's happening is true. Whenever we say, I don't want, the don't, the universe doesn't understand no. So you always want to use a positive spin on that. I choose to be healthy and abundant. That is very different than I want to be healthy and abundant, because that creates want. It doesn't create action. So it's just being really mindful of what thoughts we are creating with. All right? And thanks, because that's a great one for everyone. Adrian, nice to have you. Haven't seen you in a while. So your card is the King of Fire in this deck. And I love the lion at the heart and the throat. So the King of Fire is about action. It's about calling in your courage to speak your truth. The kings are very rooted, very grounded. They can't be pushed over by anyone else. They listen to what others have to say, but they make their own choices and they make their own decisions. And so this is inviting you in this next week to stand in your power, stand in your courage, and say what needs to be said. In this decade of clear perception, the 2020 vision of this new decade is all about getting really clear on what is acceptable in our life and setting boundaries to let other people know, this is how I want to be treated. This is how I want to be loved. And so sometimes that takes some inner strength to come through to expand your voice into that. And we do those words from a place of loving kindness. Words that are spoken in anger are never received. They are often batted back at us, but they aren't heard and understood. So when we go into our heart space and speak from there, then people will hear our truth. They may not like it, but they'll at least hear it and receive it. All right. Thanks for joining us. All right, so Kimberly. Oh, Rob, yes, this is the native stream. This has been a quite a feat today. We tried all sorts of different ways, including I updated everything you can imagine to try to get this to go through Be Live, but it just wouldn't do it. So it's all right. So this is the 14 for you, Kimberly, the King of Earth. So look at all these kings we've got. Third king in the deck. So the King of Earth, Kimberly, is again, I mean, when we get the King card and we're a female, it's because it's telling us to stand in our masculine energy a little bit more. So the King of Earth is very, again, he's very grounded. All of the kings are. But the King of Earth is very much in charge of his own kingdom. Again, he listens to other people's ideas, beliefs, but he makes his own decisions. And he's also in control of his own financial wealth, and really chooses how those funds are allocated. So if you think about, you know, somebody coming to the kings of old and making a request, you know, the king would listen, but in the end would choose what was best for the kingdom, especially when they were in their light, right? So you are choosing what is best for your queendom or your kingdom, and you get to decide. Your advisors or your friends might advise you on their ideas, or your family. They may give you their opinions, but in the end, you are the one in control. And so really be mindful that you don't hand that power away to anyone else, and that you really own all the ways that you are a powerful creator, because that's also part of, you know, kings will create, you know, new programs and will plant new crops. They're in charge of all that, and you're in charge of that for your sphere of influence. All right, have a great one. So Adrian, I did yours. Martina, hi dear. Of course you may have a card. So Martina, yours is a soul card as well. It's the knowledge card. It's the 9 in this deck. And so right now for you, your soul's journey is about learning. And I've heard that for a few people today. And so when it's inviting you to bring in new knowledge, it's something that your soul needs. It's not something that to take lightly. How's that? So it would be aligned with something that you truly love to do, or you've always wanted to do. So, you know, it may be a course in like manifesting. It may be an art class. It may be getting a few books on cooking so that you can learn some new recipes. Whatever is really speaking to you and where you want your soul to go forward, it's time. And this is something that's, you know, this is not like taking a 2-hour class and being done with it. This is something that is more involved. You know, this is part of your soul is yearning for this. Your soul is yearning for this next layer of knowledge. You know, you've been seeking it. So have your eyes and your soul and your heart wide open to finding that thing that is calling to you. And you'll know it. You'll feel it instantly, like, oh my gosh, that's what she was talking about, if you haven't already found it. And if you've already found it, if you haven't signed up for it yet, do it, because the window of opportunity for this soul growth is shorter. It's like you got like a 3-month window to launch yourself into new knowledge. And yeah, so do it. All right, Margaret. All right. So this one is the 13, my dear. This is the Union card, another soul card. Notice she has the butterfly right below her navel. So that is the where we manifest out of, our second chakra. and you have the beautiful Celtic knot at her root. And she has a male and a female snakes, the Shiva and Shakti, that are meeting up at her crown. So in that energy, it's very much about Kundalini energy. It's the balance of the masculine, the feminine within you. It's also balance in relationships, and it's a coming together of like-minded people with a similar vision. Now, this can be a romantic union, but it also can be like two people coming together to create a new business, or a new idea or a new project. But it's this like perfect meshing of souls in the moment. And so in the union energy, when we're in that, it's our job as part of our soul's lesson to hold on to our own true essence and not lose ourselves in the other. And that means we need to stand in the energy of our authentic self, and not cave and not give in to people pleasing. Be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. But when we start a relationship or an alliance, it's really calling, if we're our true selves, then the other person has permission to be their true selves as well. And then you don't have these headaches down the road, because if you love and accept who you are, then they'll love and accept who you are, and you are able to love and accept who they are in the moment too. You're not trying to change anyone, and no one's trying to change you. So that's part of your soul's lesson for the next couple of months, is how to go into relationship while holding on to your identity and not becoming a we. You know, when somebody speaks for you, you want to still have your voice, and you want them to have theirs too. All right, my dear. Yes, Adrian, I definitely had to punt and do this when we did this live stream. Gina, nice to see you. Thank you for noticing I'm doing better. Feels a lot better. So your card is one of the soul cards as well. Apparently, we're doing a lot of that today too. So yours is the 22. This is the intuition card. And so the intuition card is really about how do we listen to what our soul is trying to tell us and what our spiritual team is trying to tell us. And when we have a sense that something is off, trusting that, not questioning it, just really leaning in and allowing. That the sixth sense is really trying to expand dimensionally right now. So there are a lot of people who are having sinus pressure and headaches and stuff because of that, because we've blocked our perception. Because the sixth sense is really about clear perception if it's in its light, if it's in its fullest light energy. And so as that's awakening, as that's shedding back all the ways that you've shut it down, it's really being mindful of trusting. You know, if you get your intuitive hits in your gut, like when you feel it, noticing what that hit is and checking in with your heart in whether, don't assume that a gut punch is bad. It may just be a nudge to let you know. So checking in to see, you know, what that is and how it is very important. That will really also help your spiritual gifts gently open and take a little more light than they have in the recent months. So have fun with that. All right, Bobby. I heard, Randy, congratulations on getting to ring the cancer-free bell today. Woohoo! So of course we'll give you a card. I love this. Oh, this is lovely. Don't get too worried about it. So this is the 2 of air, and it's a balance between the shadow and the light. And this is all about justice, and this is about bringing our soul into perfect balance. So what I'm seeing for you is that, you know, what you've been through, it brought out any of the shadowy energy that needed to clear. Cancer is fantastic at releasing negative energy if we allow the light to fill us up and release it. So I am so happy for you that that is how your energy is being right now. It's restoring back to center. It's understanding that the cancer, you know, didn't go after you. It was here as a soul's lesson to ground you in your faith, your optimism, and your joy, and really expand into your heart energy even more. And that love energy, when we're floating with that higher love energy connected to spirit, nothing like cancer can take us down, because we're in that space. And so I am so happy for you. And it just feels like your whole energy is returning back to center, back to balance. And I'm very, very happy for you. Mwah. So Jackie Fitzpatrick. Yes, I have a card for you. So your card is the 9 of air. In some decks it's the sword. So notice she has the dagger kind of at her throat as well. But her hand, well, it's really, she's holding her hands like this, and the dagger is like here, but it's also between her wrists. I can't even do that move. So what she's holding is the lotus, which is the crown energy being wide open. So in this energy, this is you very connected to spirit. You're letting go of the old things that, you know, bound you, that sort of held you hostage, held you victim, you know, and sometimes that's our old thoughts and our beliefs, you know, really run amok in our energy. And when we finally get a hold of them and go, no, that's not how I think, that's not how I feel, that's not what I believe, and we let that go, it's this powerful opening of our heart, our spirit, and our crown. And that's the energy that I'm feeling for you right now, that opening, because you're letting old stuff go. And thank you for doing that, because that's a very dense energy when we hold on to things, ideas and beliefs, and even trauma from our past. It really weighs down who we are and doesn't allow us to really step into our truth and our true self. And so that energy of being a victim of old energy is letting go this week, is really releasing, and it's allowing you to call into your energy body, your power, your voice, and your true spirit. Yay! This is a lovely evening. All right, Lynn. Hi, dearest. So you have the 2 of fire. I love these lovely ladies. And so in the 2 of fire, what this is showing me is that right now you're in this place of, like, again, you're another one who's trying to create balance. And for you, it's like balancing out that anger energy is what I'm feeling, which is frustration and righteous anger and judgment and resentment energy that's coming at you, that, you know, you're trying not to share with others. You're really trying to stay in balance. And boy, sometimes it's hard to keep our cool when people are poking our buttons, and when our stress level is going up a little bit. So I'm feeling like the stress might get nudged up a little bit just this week. So be mindful that as that is happening, that you're breathing a lot, and you're imagining that your fire is only being propelled to help you forward. And so when this much fire energy wants to come in, Big time to drink fluids, because that will help keep it down. And I would avoid spicy foods too, just for about a week, because that can flare the anger and frustrate. It's not always anger, but that's how I'm hearing it. But it can, you know, if we're frustrated and annoyed, it can just put us over the edge. You know, that one last car that cuts us off and we have to slam on our brakes and then we're screaming. That's not helpful. So it's like bringing that energy into balance so we're managing our emotions and our emotions aren't managing us. Great one for all of us. Kimberly Duquette. Hi, sweetie. So your card is the 10 of air. And look at all that. I don't know if you can see. There's all these butterflies. She's got her wings. She's looking to the divine eye for guidance. And there's all this transformation energy around her. So what this is saying is that you're really connected to listening to the divine guidance. And as you really focus on listening to that and hearing that, it's transforming and transmuting old thoughts and beliefs that aren't in alignment. So as we raise our vibration, the denser thoughts, the negativity, they start to slide off of us. And when we start to have that slide off of us, then people around us sometimes try to give us their negativity because they don't want to deal with it. So they'll start complaining around us and saying gossipy things that aren't in a heart space. So notice when that is happening around you, you can choose not to receive that energy. So I have been saying when somebody is doing that with me, I say I release those thoughts and I control my own reality, or I create my own reality. I create my own happiness. And so it can be said and it just slides off like Teflon. And the more that happens, the more open and lighthearted I feel. So that may help you as well. All right, Troy, nice having you. So yes, so yours is the 13, which is the Queen of Air. I love that snowy white owl. I'm just saying, you know, the owls have all this wisdom and all this knowledge. So the Queen of Air is really brilliant. And she is very open to knowledge in all the ways that it comes in. She's also very in tune to her intuition. She allows spirit to guide her. She allows herself to really be one with herself. So what I'm feeling for you is that this week is about really checking into what's right for you, releasing what's right for everybody else, checking into your intuition a lot, which I'm hearing for a lot of people, but it's also about letting spirit guide you. And again, you're the queen of your own queendom. So other people can offer advice, they can offer words of wisdom, but it is up to you to whether you receive that or not. You can say thank you and not take their advice. It's like, wow, thank you. That's really insightful. Doesn't mean you have to take action on it, right? You hear them, you see them, but you make your own choices from your own space. Love that. Trisha Shepherd, of course there's a card for you. Oh, this is a fantastic card, sweetie. This is a soul card. So Trisha, this is the healing card. So he has this staff that has one of the sort of, it's got a dream catcher on it. It's got the Celtic knot nearby. There's a lot of earth healing that's going on. So for the next few months, your energy is about healing. And sometimes the healing is physical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's mental. So for you, what I'm feeling is that, different things are going to show up that no longer work for you. And it'll be very much in your face. And so when it's in our face, we can't ignore it. And that usually means Spirit's nudged us a few times to try to take a look at that, and we've pushed it aside. So some things are going to come into your face that no longer serve you, and you're going to have the opportunity to choose how to heal it. So in the physical realm, it may be shifting how you eat food. It may be shifting how you stretch or do movement or exercise. It may be shifting how much sleep you're getting. And if it comes to you on the emotional realm, it may be letting go of repressed emotions that you've held on to a long time. EFT tapping works fantastic for that. And one of our show hosts, Ed Langen, has some fantastic videos on that I recommend. And, it may be watching, the Hallmark Channel and crying it out. Whatever serves you. I also love to heal through laughter. So I often will put on really funny shows or Disney movies, things that really bring out joy energy, and it shifts the emotional energy as it's releasing. And then the mental realm may just simply be like, you've always done something one way, and it'll come to you one day. It's like, well, why? Just because I've always done it this way doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. And maybe some new ideas will come in that serve you better. And all of those are layers of how to heal yourself. And it's all about how do you lighten and brighten yourself and your energy. And usually it begins by falling back in love with yourself. So think about taking yourself out on a date, treating yourself like a cherished object, and treat yourself better than you would treat anybody else. Because we often put other people first. We would never treat people or say things to people the way we talk to ourselves. And maybe that's part of it too. So have fun with that. That's going to be a few months of that, sweetie. So get on it. So Rob, I did do your card earlier. Tina, your card, my dear, is the One of Earth. So these ones, or the aces, they are always a gift from the divine. And in this deck, they're a dragon. So this is the dragon of Earth. And so that can be fantastic, because that will be about anything that is connected to your foundation. It can be a gift from the divine for supporting your foundation. Sometimes that's money. Sometimes that's a newfound sense of safety and security. And maybe it's a stability that comes to your family and your living situation. But whatever it is, it's sort of like all of a sudden you're going to be very grounded and be able to take a big sigh of relief. So this is something to pay attention to this week. Make sure you say thank you when it occurs, because then more of that can come in for you. It doesn't have to be a 1 week, one-time deal. The more gratitude we express, the more we create what we're grateful for. All right, my dear. Angelica, yay, I get to give you a card. Sorry I didn't last week. That's just how that went. So sweetheart, your card is the Six of Water. And you recognize her because she was in your year card reading that I did for you, your yearly card. So see how she's giving you the gift of the bracelet with the heart on it. So the Six of Water for you right now is that, you are swimming in a lot of emotional energy, a lot of intuitive energy, and your spiritual team, especially your angels, they're handing you the gift of your heart. So they're reminding you that as you go through all of this emotional, you may have kind of an emotional week, but what it's doing is giving you back the essence of your true heart, the essence of who you really are, and allowing you space to feel all of that fully. And when we can do all of that energy, it's joyful. And even when we have to experience old sorrow, it's because it's clearing to no longer be held. It's all positive, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Just remember, you're cleansing and restoring your heart so that it can feel all the joy that it's meant to feel. Ooh, how lovely. And have at it. Enjoy that. So Linda, it's Triana, maybe. Your card, my dear, is another one of the soul cards. And this is the 3. This is the youth card. So notice he's got his staff to go on his journey, and he's got his faithful companion with him to protect him and guide him. So in this part of your energy right now is your soul's lesson, my dear, is about you are setting forth on a new journey. And we are in a new decade. So it's, for a lot of people, we're starting a new chapter. We're starting a new adventure as part of our life right now. And you are going to journey forth in this very youthful energy, which is fantastic, because in the youthful energy, there's not fear, there's not worry, there's just excitement and wonder of what's up next, what's coming ahead. So as you are facing these new challenges, remember to be curious about them and don't judge them as right or wrong or good or bad. Just be like, I wonder why this is showing up for me right now. And in that youthful energy, we become sort of scientists, and we really look at the nuances and why it's happening and what's occurring. And it also allows us a lightheartedness as we're moving forward in this next chapter. We don't have to trudge our way through. It doesn't have that density. And you have plenty of energy to support you. That's what the staff is there for. And think of it as a staff, a walking stick, but it's also that you've got your spiritual staff. Your spiritual team is right there with you. Your animal totem is walking right alongside you to help you, to guide you, and to nudge you in the direction that's best for your soul's development. Can't ask for better than that. So enjoy that, sweetie. April O'Grady. All right. Your card is the 12 of Swords of Air. I have to always remember, I'm like hearing both sides of the deck. So this is the Scribe card. So April, time to get out your pen and paper. The Scribe is very much about it's time for you to write. Whether it's you're writing a to-do list, whether you are writing your life story, whether you are writing your goals for the year, it's time for you to bring that energy out. Now, sometimes the Scribe could also be like a poet. It can also be a painter. It can be a dancer. But it is very much grounded in knowledge making its way onto paper and out to where other people can see it and receive it. Maybe it's writing letters to people that you've wanted to. Maybe it's writing down your goals for the year, whatever that may be. But this is time for you to, whatever has been nagging at you to get written down, it's time to do it. You have plenty of energy to do it. You have plenty of support in doing it, and it'll be a lot faster than you think. When the energy is present for us to do those things, it releases the burden energy from it. it releases the responsibilities from it, and your spiritual team can bend time to fit it into the schedule that you need it to fit in. So if you've only got an hour to write every day, they'll give you plenty of content that it'll look like you wrote for 3 or 4 hours. All you have to do is set that boundary with your team. But there's a lot that wants to be written, and it's going to be longer than a week. It's like this week is to get that motor started. And if you don't know how to begin writing, try doing automatic writing in the morning. Just dumping down whatever comes to your brain, and you'll notice that your team will start to speak through you. Okay? All right. I'm glad Graham enjoyed his message. Hi, Paula. How are you? Oh my goodness, all these people. So your card, no, Andrew, I've not pulled your card yet. I didn't have a way to get that other feed. I could try to do it on my phone, but it's hard enough for me to manage the comments without a producer. So anyways, Paula, your card is a soul card as well. It's the Father card. So the Father energy is what's being asked of you right now. And so, and as women, we can draw the Father card. Because a father holds his energy a particular way, and a mother holds her energy a particular way. So as part of your soul's journey right now, it's crucial for you to hold the father energy. So the father has a very precise way, and he can be very fair, but it's his way or the highway. So this is calling for you to stand in your power with a lot of people and set some intense boundaries is what I'm seeing. So there may be some people that you've allowed space for, you kind of let them slide, or it was like this people pleaser mode, and you're like, well, you made excuses for them. That's not going to happen. You're going to be saying to a number of people, I love you, but I can't do this with you anymore in this way. I need things to go this way. And if that doesn't work for you, then we're going to have to do something different. Because it's a non-negotiable energy. You standing in your power in this particular way it's your way or the highway. So if relationships feel out of whack with certain people, and I feel like work in one of your work areas, that may be the case. It's time for newer, brighter things. So open space for that. Go where the energy is light and bright, where your heart feels most open. There's no need for you to do things because you have to. You get to choose to do things that make you happy. All right? Woo! So Andrew, here you go. You have the 8 of Fire. I love her because she kind of looks like the Phoenix. So the 8 of Fire in this one, for me, this is how I'm seeing it for you, is it's about the Phoenix wanting to take flight. You're going through this energy of like wanting to transform, wanting to shift, wanting to change, but there's still some sort of mask on your face. So that always shows me that part of what needs to shift is that you need to take off the false identity and just be Andrew. So if you feel like you've been pretending to be somebody you're not, which, gosh, we all do that, right? They expect us to be somebody at work, so that's who we are. And then after a while, it's not really who we are. And so we start to feel that tug to shift and become who we are. And so as you go through this transformation, and as you start to take the mask off, there's this rush of fire that comes in that's going to propel you into newer, brighter things. It might even be a new job, because there's a lot of energy behind it. So Don't apologize for being Andrew anymore. That's the big thing that I'm hearing. You are fantastic the way you are. And if other people don't get that about you, then screw them. So really just be you. Because when you're comfortable in your own skin, amazing things are going to happen for you. And they're right there. There's all this fire creation energy that wants to propel you into new realms. So go with it. All right. Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Hi, Deborah. How you doing? So Deborah Clark Clemens, here's your card. So your card is the 10 of Wisdom, my dear. This is another one of our soul cards. So this Wisdom card, you know, the lantern, this is all about looking inside. So right now what you're doing is you're looking internally. You're doing an emotional inventory. You're checking out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You're contemplating, you know, what you've been through. You're gathering up all the things that you're grateful for, all the good things that have happened, and releasing the things that, you know, you weren't so fond of. And in that place, you start to understand all the things you already know, all the wisdom that you already carry. It's not about looking for new knowledge for you. It's about acknowledging all the knowledge that you have. You know, we're not taught to brag about our accomplishments, but this is about an internal brag. Like, I did these amazing things, and own it and give yourself a pat on the back. And as you do that, there'll be some revelations that come to you, and it'll start to tap into your inner knowing. And when we tap into our inner knowing, that's when we're tapping into the wisdom of our higher self. But often we have to acknowledge all that we've been through, all that we've accomplished already, for that higher wisdom to slide through. And this is also a time when, as we sort of gather that energy together, it allows us space to step into the role of sage elder, where we can begin to share the wisdom we've accumulated with others who are newer on their path and who could use our knowledge, our wisdom, and our expertise to guide them on their journey. All right. Thank you, Neshi, for putting in my services there. I love that. Nathan, nice to have you. So Nathan, your card is the 7 of Earth. And again, notice the chakras. His chakras are all lit up, the bottom 3 especially. He's got the snake, and the tree of life at the top of his head is wide open. So in the 7 of Earth, this is that card of you've really planted the seeds of your wisdom. You're really beginning to, you know, you've gone through a lot of apprenticing energy to get to a place of you're starting to turn into the master of your own reality, of your own world at the moment. And so in this next week, as you're coming into that mastery energy, remember to keep yourself grounded in your heart's truth. Because lots of times when we start to enter mastery energy, it's a time when our ego comes in and tries to puff itself up. And then that actually destroys some of the mastery we are working on. So notice when that energy of ego self wants to come in, and just take a deep breath and realign yourself. Because a master really doesn't need to brag. They own their mastery, but they don't have to try to convince themselves or anyone else of their mastery. Does that make sense? So in this space, it's about feeling like a master, giving yourself permission to be the master of your energy, of your existence, and that you don't need to rely on anybody else at the moment, that you are in control of your own destiny at the moment. So use that energy this week to create and lay a strong foundation that's built on the wisdom that you've already created and you already hold. Nice. Oh yes, Nashi's reminding everybody of our manifesting wonderful group of classes. So we're having this Star Nations gathering that's called a Launch into the Deep Waters of Manifesting. It features Maureen Mann, Ed Langen, myself, and Neshi Lokotz, and we are each teaching our flavor of higher vibrational manifestation. And my course is called Multidimensional Manifesting with Your Inner Child. And basically, it's how do you manifest in more than the third dimension, and the inner child carries the magic wand. So how do you tap into that? And this is the launching point of the big 3-day weekend that we're going to have here at Trinity Healing Sanctuary, where all 4 of us are coming together in one location. And you are welcome and invited to join us, because it's going to be fantastic. Join us in person or join us on the courses that are online. I couldn't think of that word. But join us, because we would love to have you. And Maureen, no, I did not get your card request because of the glitch. Yeah, it was on the other thing. So it's all good. So Maureen, here's your card. Yours is the 10 of water, my dear. So in the 10 of water in this deck, she is creating her own universe right now, from a place of emotional balance, stability, intuition. It's all of that beautiful love, energy, and joy. And in this deck, it's about just really being an intuitive being, which you're fantastic at. And that's what the energy is for you this week. It's really leaning into your intuitive self, really relying on that as your guidance system, allowing your emotions to really provide the radar for what's going on around you, and sort of riding that emotional energy out as it goes through. And I'm not feeling it being like sad or angry. I just feel like these waves of joy and love and shifting and change that are just, you're just gonna enjoy. It's like you're basking in, so you're soaking it all in. You're allowing it to flow through you, to you, around you, and it really has you in a place where you're in sync with your team and yourself. Fantastic. All right. Nice. So thank you, Neshi, for sharing why I was having trouble. Carol Anderson, hi, sweetheart. Here's your card. So yours is the 5 of Earth. And so 5s are a little difficult, so just hang on this week. So in the 5 energy, it's about whether we're focused on the past or the present. We can have other people who, they flash us stuff about our past. They bring things up from our past. And they can launch us back into that old energy if we're not careful. And so, just because somebody goes down the rabbit hole doesn't mean we need to go down with them. Or as Neshi would say, just because they're on the toboggan to hell, we don't have to jump on. We can wave goodbye as they take themselves down. So what this is saying is that there are going to be some of these challenges in staying in the present moment, not getting anxious about the future, not worrying about, you know, what happened before. Let those things go. It's like, well, I don't care what happened in the past. I just want to be in the present right now. And that may be difficult for people around you, but really focus on that, because otherwise they can yank your energy out of the present moment and make it really uncomfortable for you to be grounded and to be happy, you know, because when we're happy and joyful, we're in the now. We're not in the past, or we're not in the future. We're right here, right now. So if you feel your joy slipping away, that may be an indicator. Then go flip on, you know, something funny on Netflix or something, and bring yourself back in. All right. Nice. Yes, Tina, I did get your request and I did that. And Jackie Fitzpatrick. Yes, Carol, I just read yours. Gina, yes. Aw, Angelica was crying. Nice. Good. Andrew, Nathan, Maureen. Yay! Looks like I got to everybody. Nice. So thank you guys for being here. I apologize for anybody who might have put in a request on the other feed that I didn't receive. But that's how this goes. Sometimes things are glitchy, and that's what happens. But the show must go on, and so it did. And so I will see you guys here next Wednesday for Soul Connections. And if you'd like, if you're interested in all things energy, or if you want an idea of like what's going on right now, join me tomorrow night, also at 7, for chakra sessions, because we're going to be really focusing this year on what can we do with our energy, with our spiritual team, to shift and move things. And tomorrow will be a fantastic meditation. So I hope you join us for that. And with that, I will see you guys next time. And thanks for joining me. Mwah. Glad to have you.